Gani, what's up, what's happening? You know, people from Atlanta are here. So, my name is Mark Kaigwa, and it's no coincidence that African heritage, African culture, and African American culture share one particular strand in common. Storytelling and narrative, and our ability to communicate and tap into our respective cultural backgrounds to do this. In South Africa, you have the Sangoma, you have the griots, you just have just such a rich history. Whichever way you look, there's always somebody with a story to tell and an exceptional gift to tell it. And that's one of the things that drives me and what I do. I work as, funnily enough, when iHub research and consulting, and those are two things which I spend a lot of my time involved with. The other thing is speaking and storytelling. So it's knowing how M-Survey works and being able to pitch it, much like you did just now. It's learning how they got to 23,500 listens on Wabe a couple of weeks ago, and knowing what that means for the future of music. It's knowing what Elimu is doing and knowing about the future of education. And for me, my time is spent primarily on two things. One is publishing these stories because they have to be written before they can be spoken, and this is the age of the internet. And one of the places that I do that is a website called afriinnovator.com, which I'm involved with. Some crowd support. And also, I have a personal blog, my own soapbox, which is mark.co.ke. I also have been involved in my life in a range of things, which form the wealth of knowledge and experience that forms my consulting practice now, from an award-winning game created for Warner Brothers to writing and creating animated film, to working now in 7 African countries, 3 in West Africa, 4 in East Africa, including Kenya. And for me, it's all about this one thing, that Africa's story is a most interesting one. You had, 10 years ago, and the past being largely centered around crisis or the safaris and nothing in between. And now you have everything centered around technology, but still you have polar opposites and not a lot of nuance behind it. It's this prosperous Africa, an amazing Africa, and there's not the richness of the 54 countries or the storytellers of these countries that comes through. So it's my work through working on strategy for new media, mobile adoption, and consumer trends in these countries and beyond. That's led me to do a lot of speaking, a lot of storytelling, and certainly that puts me in this hot seat right now. Now, I had to think through this pitch a little bit because I thought, well, what do I want sitting in this chair now? What I like, essentially, is one, to get to know each and every one of you better. I've read your profiles and I have an idea of a way we could each engage. And so I think that I have something to offer, as much as I would like to hear from you and hear from some of your experiences. And secondly, it would be in terms of your network. I'm lucky enough to have built a global network the last few years, and to add you to it and to begin an exchange would be incredibly useful to me. And obviously to reciprocate. And last but not least is that, sure, if you'd like to see anything about AfriInnovator, anything about my company, or hear anything more, I'd be very happy to tell it to you, starting now.